Hey, it's Sean with Happy Ass Ranch YouTube channel. Thanks for clicking on. Today, let's talk about starting your YouTube channel. I think everybody finds it pretty intimidating. I know I did. I tried for, 5 years. Was when I think I first started thinking about it. It was about 5 years ago, and I started one, and I got so intimidated by the process that I didn't even learn the process. I just thought it was harder than it is. And then it just became unimportant to me as far as, like, what did I even want out of it, you know? I didn't really, not very many people make a lot of money at it. But really, more than anything, I think I just wanted to like friends and family to see what I'm doing, because everybody's always asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? I do a lot of fun things. I build a lot of cool things. So I really just wanted to share what I do. And I videotaped a lot of content over the years, and it just seemed so difficult. Like, I used to build custom campers from the ground up. Starts a pile of metal on the ground, and it becomes this amazing camper in a month. But I would think about editing videos, and I would say, I can't do that. It's like, it's dumb. So I had all this content, and I just kept talking myself out of it. And I just decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on that, and I'm going to give it a shot, And I didn't expect it to be good. And I wasn't even really concerned about it being, like, really good. I think that's what, if you're going to start one, just do it. It doesn't matter. If your videos aren't perfect, who cares? The process is, once I started, and then I found out editing's not, it's just steps, and so you can, once you get it down, get the program that you want. I use Final Cut Pro, and I find it's really easy to use. And like, my videos aren't great, I know that, but I'm just starting. I think I've been doing this now for uploading videos for maybe 2 months, maybe. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm not expecting to make, any money at this, to be honest with you. It's not really why I'm doing it. Just want to share some things about what I do. Maybe some people get something out of it, maybe they don't. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter to me, it doesn't really matter how other people feel about it. I want them to enjoy it, but it's really, I just want to share it, and some people will like it, and, and I'm sure some people will complain about my videos not being very good. So, but they'll get better. But the problem is if you don't start, you're never going to get better at it. You got to start somewhere. So even if they're, if your videos aren't that good to begin with, who cares? But the important part is just doing it. You know, there's so many people on YouTube that are very helpful as far as, you know, just how to, you know, what's the steps to get started? You know, how do you download a video? How do you do what's the proper way to do this or that? There's tons of that. I mean, there's people, that's their channel. Their channel is helping you start your YouTube channel, you know, so there's tons of information, there's tons of help. You know, just find out what you want, what you love, and just do it, you know. So me, I don't know where it'll go, and I'm not expecting to quit my job over it, or like I said, or make any money. I'm just going to share my content and see where it goes, you know. I think today I have like 22 subscribers, which, you know, for 2 months, it feels like, you know, on one hand, you're like, I feel like I'm not doing very well. I wouldn't call it failing, because failing to me is not even doing it at all. But, you know, on one hand, you're like, only got 22. And on the other hand, I'm like, shit, I got 22, you know? So it's all how you look at it. You know, you're going to start slow. You know, unless you got something that's, you know, you got some amazing idea that's different and it just blows up, you know, like, you never know. But, what's this? A little side note, just out here walking on my property, and I've been noticing a lot less rabbits. There's part of a rabbit with fresh meat on it, so something got him a rabbit last night. I have some gray fox and a couple of owls out here that are, I think, taking them out. But yeah, but anyway, yeah, you just gotta, you know, like, failing is not doing it, you know, not getting, you know, 1,000 subscribers in a couple of months. That's not failing, you know. If you did do that, you know, like, you can go on YouTube, like, that's pretty amazing if you can make it happen like that fast. So really, I think just going to the computer, sitting down, just build your page right off the bat, get that started, you know, and then you don't have to have a bunch of equipment, you know. I'm an equipment guy, so, you know, like, I'm a metal fabricator, and, you know, like, I see new stuff, I gotta have it, you know. So, you know, when it comes to equipment, I'm like, hey, you want to make money, you spend money, you know. So, like, I YouTubed all the, you know, what's the best cameras to do all this, and microphones and all these things, and, you know, what's the best equipment. And I start buying it, you know. And the most convenient and the best thing that I've got right now, in my opinion, is this selfie stick. I guess that's what you're going to call it. And my phone. My iPhone 15 takes amazing videos. The camera I got takes amazing videos, but, you know, one of the things about these cameras and videos is they overheat like crazy. So, you know, you want to take longer videos, you're going to take them in sections, because, you know, they run 5, 6, 7 minutes and then they overheat and shut down. So, you know, if you're going to build something, it's certainly, or show somebody how to build something, or you're reviewing something, like, that's a pain in the ass. So, you know, equipment isn't everything. You don't need a bunch of equipment. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So, what you need is just to do it, you know. Take some video on your phone, edit it, and then download it, you know. Important things are, you know, you got to grab people's attention, you know, and thumbnails do that, you know. Like my first videos, I just let the machine generate some thumbnails, and they were terrible. Some of them are still on there. I tried to make some thumbnails, and I just didn't have it, you know. I couldn't. I thought, you know, God, these look cool, but they didn't, you know. They didn't really grab attention. And then like yesterday, I was like, I'm just gonna take some time and figure out how to make some kind of cool thumbnails that are, I don't know if they're cool. I mean, to me, they were better than what I had. So, you know, I looked at a bunch of thumbnails of different things, different videos, and was like, kind of got an idea, you know, about what I wanted to do. And so I made thumbnails for 6 or 7 different videos that I have, and put them on there, because that, you know, if people don't click on them, you know, if they don't grab attention, nobody's even going to click on your videos. So, you know, and I don't want, you know, like, if I can do better, I want to do better. So, yeah, you know, I think it's the important part is just doing it, you know. Put your videos out there. They're not going to be good in the beginning, or maybe you're really good at it and they are going to be great, you know, so that would be great for you, you know. But if they're not great, it doesn't really matter. You know, I think you know, YouTube's forever, you know, and you're out there, you know, and it's like, I don't have kids, but I've got nephews and, you know, different family members. And it's really, for me, the biggest thing for me about YouTube is I can put stuff out there, and then people can go on there and then see what I'm doing. You know, my family members can see it. And when I'm gone, you know, my family members that are still alive will be able to watch it, you know. So, you know, you never know, you know, what's going to go on with YouTube, you know. So, you know, don't make it about money, because the money part of it, I think, is, you know, like, it sounds amazing, you know, like, I'm going to start my YouTube channel and quit my job, you know. And it's like, some people can do that, you know, but it's not very many, you know. So just don't make it about that, you know. Just get started, and, you know, it's going to be slow, and it's going to seem like, what's the point, you know. But what is the point? What is the point for you, you know? The point for me was, you know, certainly I would like to have a lot of subscribers and actually make money doing it, you know, so I can do the things I love more often. I mean, I certainly do a lot of it anyway already, you know. So, you know, I think my whole point with this video is, you know, just, it's important, if you want to do it, just to get out and get started with whatever content you have today, you know. Just put one out, you know, like, who cares, you know. If you want editing, get Final Cut Pro. There's tons of videos out there, you know. When I did my first video, I basically downloaded Final Cut Pro, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to edit this stuff. And I clicked on a video on how to edit videos, and I just started, you know, like, okay, guys tell me to do this. This is how you start. And I just went through each step and built a video that day. You know, it took me about, I don't know, it wasn't that long, maybe an hour and a half, maybe, you know. And the video wasn't I don't know. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. You know, it wasn't. Um, you know, maybe the filming, you know, is really, you know, my biggest obstacle right now is, you know, getting the great shots and stuff like that. You know, like um, ones that I'm happy with. You know, I'm pretty hard on myself about everything. You know, when I build things and that stuff, I'm my worst critic. You know, so um, some things that I think are probably pretty decent, I scrap because I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's good enough. You know, and it probably was. So, you know, I've really tried to concentrate on just uh, having a little faith. You know, and it's a learning process in the beginning. So, you know, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to probably make way more mistakes than not. And so, you know, that's how you're going to learn is from your mistakes. You know, you learn, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm not going to do. You know, like that doesn't look good. Then don't do that anymore, you know? So, but, yeah, just get your content together, get it edited, and put it on YouTube I mean, it's so simple, you know? So, and when you get that first one on there, you know, it's pretty gratifying, you know, just to know like, I got stuff on YouTube, you know, and, but just don't get hung up on how many views you're going to get, you know? I've got, and who knows what goes, you know, I downloaded some shorts one day. I was like, I'm going to do a bunch of shorts, you know, because I have so much content, especially outdoor stuff, you know, and I did, I don't know, 10 or 12 shorts in one day. And some of it was similar, and some of it got a lot of views, and some of them got none, you know, and you're like, well, that one is the same as that one. Why would that one not get views and this one does, you know? But, you know, it's all the algorithm and how that plays out, which, you know, controlling that, you know, good luck with that, you know? So, you know, until you have history with YouTube, you know, it's really tough to, you know, you could have a video go viral. I mean, that's for sure your first one, you know, but, you know, to be consistent with it, you know, YouTube has to know who you are and your niche and all that stuff. So, you know, it's complicated, but it's not, you know, when I first started listening, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to know about that stuff. It seems like it's so complicated. But then I was like, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to make videos and put them out there because that's what I want to do, you know? So, but get started. Don't get hung up on how slow it starts. You know, I'm hoping you start and it just breaks out for you right away, you know? So, because that would be cool to me. But I'm not big into these, you know, making tutorial videos. But I think you know, I kind of was thinking last night, like, I don't know, you know, like how many people were like me? Probably, you know, millions of people out there just like not starting, you know, and probably in the same mind frame as I was in, you know, like it seems like it's hard and it's, you know, so I thought I'm just going to make a video. It's not. Then I started thinking maybe I'll make a video once a month about how it's going, you know, so what's wrong with that, you know? You know, watching other people's journey and seeing, you know, if they're in the same boat or what they're doing, if it's working, what they're doing, if it's not working, you know? So, yeah, I think I'm going to do one of these types of videos once a month, and then just to show my progress and how I'm doing, you know? And so if I'm doing well, you'll know you can do well. You know, so that's, if, you know, whatever I can do, I'm guarantee you can do for sure. So, you know, if you'd like to see more of what's going to go on with my channel, just like and subscribe, you know, share it if you can, and, you know, comment. You know, commenting is an interesting part of this whole process. you know, like I watch videos and I always look at the comments, you know, to see how people are reacting to the different videos. I've always done that, you know. So, and I like to see that the creators are, you know, responding to those as well. You know, I look at that stuff, you know. So um, if you have any comments or what, you know, anything that you're going through, and you know, comment below. I'll respond to you. You know, there's nothing wrong with dialogue. I like that stuff. So anyway, I'll see you next month and get started. Just do it today, you know. Just sit down and, you know, it's Saturday. You got today and tomorrow off more than likely. Just take a couple hours and hang out and make something cool. And even if it's not cool, who cares? You know, just get started. You know, one foot after another is what I say. So, you know, don't talk about it, just be about it, you know. So, all right, I'll see you on the next one, and have a great day.